is it looking so dark here? Hello, everyone. I'm attempting to fix my tripod, but it keeps falling apart, apparently. So let's see here. Hi, Empress Beads, how are you? I'm attempting to fix my tripod, but it looks like it's falling out the slot. Okay. How are you? All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anna. Hi, Orlando Rollins. Y'all are on here promptly. Empress Beads, I am actually pretty well. I had some great meetings today, and I'm feeling a little rested so that I have some more clarity. So I am doing well. Thank you for asking. So I am here today to talk about sustainability in business and how to grow sustainably, particularly as a solopreneur. So a solopreneur is, of course, someone who is doing business on their own, often without a team. And even if one does have a team, the team is maybe part-time, limited, that sort of thing. So I'm talking about those people and how they can grow sustainably, and in general talking about sustainable growth. And so the first thing I'd like to do is establish what I mean by sustainable growth or sustainability. And so what I mean when I talk about sustainable growth is I mean being able to grow your venture in a way that doesn't require so much of your input in order for that business to grow, and also in a way where you can create systems and processes that run without you. So hi Blastina, hi DirtLife.869, thank you for joining me. So now that we understand what I mean by sustainability, let's talk about how to accomplish that. Now I believe that we all would have had the experience in 2020 of one's business crashing initially, perhaps, definitely slowing down. And I believe that because we've had to go through that globally, people are now looking more to sustainable business models. Even though the truth is that in order to grow in a way that can be maintained, you should really have been incorporating sustainability growth practices. So let's talk about some of them. We're getting really practical. So it's Teacher Tamu here today. So I hope you have your pen and paper. And if you're on the replay, I hope you are going to be writing down as well. So the first thing when you have a business, you have to be able to free some of your time up from some of the admin tasks. Now, when I say admin tasks, even though the tasks are important, such as maybe answering emails, sending out invoices, all of these things that are necessary in the course of doing business, the truth is that these tasks take up quite some time, especially as your business gets more and more customers, right? And so you have to be able to put in place some type of automation. So what does that automation look like? Well, automation looks like investing in software that after you set that up and people enter information into your forms, like lead capture forms, maybe if you're taking data from customers via email, they're filling something out. Normally what happens is we then look at the form and then we have to compose a response, right? So if 10 people email us about the same thing, we're really responding to each one of them, even though it's from the same form, etc. You need systems like a MailChimp or a Dubsado or a HoneyBook, where you put in, I used to use ManyChat as well, but that's just for Facebook, where you set that up in order to respond to people in automated ways. So for instance, like for those of you who want to figure out how to work with me, you can do that through the link in the bio, the entrepreneurship inquiry form. And I customize recommendations for you based on your challenges, your goals, etc. But what I'm doing as we move to 2021 is that I've built like a framework using Dubsado, so that when people enter their information, and depending on some of the choices they pick, such as how much they're willing to spend, etc., my system automatically emails them the appropriate options. So I don't have to go in and type up those emails manually. It can also alert me when there are certain emails so that I can take a look, and then just by pressing a button, send off a pre-prepared email. So I'm not there sitting and doing all of that. So even if I am not here in the, at my computer, people are going to get responses. And if I have someone new come on, they can be easily trained to, once they see the notification based on certain parameters, they know which emails or what invoices, etc. to send, and these are created for me by the software. So this is a huge tool. And the reason it's a huge tool is that, especially if you're a solopreneur or you're somebody with a very small team, you have to channel your energies into other growth, right? Other activities that will help you grow. And those activities are not sitting and sending emails, right? And so, yes, it does take some setup in the beginning, but afterwards you're going to have a well-oiled machine, and that is what you want. So the first thing you have to do is figure out what things in your business can be automated, right? What can be put on chatbot? What are the things where you have to do them repeatedly so that you can set up systems that do them for you? Then this gives you the opportunity to put your efforts in other places where CEO's efforts should be. Hi, Sassy V Clutches. It's my Jumpstart people on here. Empress.beads is on here as well. So that's the first thing. So if it is, for instance, that every time a customer purchases, you want to send out a thank you email, at least in the very beginning, you need to have that thank you email already done, and you're just putting in the email address. But as you get more sophisticated, you will use things like workflows. MailChimp has a few workflows. Dubsado has many workflows. SendGrid also has workflows. HoneyBook, I've not used HoneyBook myself, but I know they also have those things. And so if somebody sends you or buys something from you and you want to send a thank you email, then that should go out automatically. So how do you know what needs to be automated? Well, what needs to be automated are the things that take a significant amount of time, that you do more than 3 of. So if you're sending out more than 3 thank you emails, because you're going to do that every time you have a client, you know that every time you have a client, invoices need to go out. You know that every time you run a workshop, maybe a pre-packaged welcome letter needs to be sent. So anything that you have to do in a repetitive manner, you need to figure out how to automate. Another thing is that you need to look at integrations. Now, I'm a real techie person. Everybody knows I was a lecturer in tech. My degrees are in tech and business. And so I just love tech, right? And this is simple tech. So let's talk about if you desire to, let's see what's a good example. So we talked about the thank you emails and so on, but we want to look at a concept where I've lost my train of thought. I don't know. I was beginning to look at my son in the corner of my eye, and now I'm all off the train. So we talked about automations, and we talked about how you know what to automate. Now we're talking about integration. So I'll give you an example of an integration that I have. So if you want to book with me, right, and you get a booking link, now think about this. So if you wanted to book coaching with me, you'd fill out my entrepreneurship inquiry form. I would then have to go to the form and look and see that. Then I would have to physically type an email. Then I'll send you the email and say, well, these are the times I have available. You'll select a time. I would go to Zoom and put in the time and date you've selected and send an invoice. Once I've sent the invoice, then I would have to manually send you a receipt. Then I'd have to go to my own booking calendar and make a note that I have the client at X time. Then after that, let's say it's a week from now, I need to send the client a reminder. So look at all of these steps that I would have physically had to do if I didn't have automations and integrations. So now I don't do that. So now once through the form, I've determined that you require coaching or coaching is a good fit, you get a link automatically sent to you via Dubsado with my booking calendar link. You, the client, you go see what times are available, you choose your time, the system takes your payment, it generates a receipt for you, it also generates a Zoom join link for me and for you, and it takes care of reminding you and me about our coaching assignment. So I literally have to do nothing but look at the form and see that you need coaching. I don't have to do anything else. So all of those tools have been eliminated through automation, and then the integration is between my calendar link, which is Calendly, and Zoom. So the two are integrated, right? So Calendly allows me to do that, and they're integrated, and so all of that is handled along with my payment processor, and I just know that somebody has booked and paid, and it sends out that thank you link and everything for me. So automation is great, but integrating different software to make things easier is even better. And you're wondering, well, how do I do that? Most of the software will ask you to connect to your payment processor, connect to Zoom, connect to your QuickBooks or your accounting software, so that the money you make is automatically recorded in your accounting software. So these are some of the types of tools that are required if you are to move into doing business sustainably, because if you don't do those things, too much of your time is taken up doing those administrative things and not enough of your time taken up doing CEO things, which include planning, strategizing, moving forward, innovating your business model, etc. So that's the first and easiest step to take, is figuring out what things can be streamlined, automated, and what tools can integrate multiple functions into one that takes steps out for you and does it all for you. So that's number 1 and 2, kind of 1A and 1B. Yeah. Now, let's talk about, so that's all about automation. But what about sustainable growth in the way that you handle before handling your money, let's talk about setting sustainable goals. Now, a goal is a sustainable goal in the context that I'm using it. Hey, Laurencia. When that goal leads to you being able to generate additional money consistently and passive income if you can. So when you are setting goals, one of your goals should always be a goal that is aligned with the sustainable growth of your venture. So, example. Now, for me, as I get busier, one of the goals that will help to make my venture more sustainable, meaning have that consistent money coming in, is to build a team of professionals around me. And so I am in the process of putting together a team. Now, I don't intend to have them as employees, at least not at this time, but I work with them as subcontractors. And so there are people who are going to do my ads for me, people who are going to do my speaker reel for speaking events. The people that have that, prowess will do that. And I can focus on doing other things like acquiring more knowledge, understanding data, emerging trends, and the things that really give me a competitive advantage in the training, speaking, and human capacity development field. Now, if you are attempting to do tasks where your strengths are not aligned, then you cannot be sustainable. Why? Because you have finite time. So those things have to be outsourced, whether they're going to be outsourced through subcontracting as on an as needed or job work, as we would call it, basis, or you're going to bring on interns or some full-time employees. But the goal is to have those other tasks being done in a professional manner while you move to do the core building of your business. So often when we are setting goals, strategic goals, we focus on monetary KPIs, right? But what we do not focus on is what I call critical success factors. The things or tasks or actions that you have to take in order to get to those goals. The other thing where we fall short is that our goals tend to just be revenue driven and driven for the here and the now, right? Or the quarter or the year, but you do not have a goal that is designed to take you into creating more and more money in a way where you can scale the business over time. So when you are setting your goals for 2021, I want you to consider which of my goals here are positioning me for continuous growth and expansion of my venture without requiring more manual work from me, the CEO. So with my Level Up ladies, we have a whole session on professionalizing your venture. We also have an entire session on strategic goals and critical success factors and KPIs and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in Level Up ladies, we start in January. I think it's the 6th or something like that. The link is in the bio. Right. So let's recap. We talked about automation and integration. And we talked about setting goals that are sustainable and goals that scaffold you or position you for sustainable growth. Now, let's talk about money. So if if this year taught us anything, is that, let me tell you, if you ain't got no money, you ain't saying nothing. You ain't saying nothing, okay? You had to have money to do things. So the question is, how do we ensure that we are managing our cash flows and revenues in a way that, and that we are allocating that money to create a framework that fosters our business being able not just to survive, but to also thrive? What does that look like? Well, it looks like determining what percentage of every revenue dollar goes into a reinvestment fund in your company. And so sometimes I've been guilty of this too. You make a money, you spend a money. If you're selling goods, products particularly, you make a money and then you buy more goods and the business, to get more revenue. And we think this is reinvesting. It's reinvesting in stock, but it's not reinvesting in growth, right? So perhaps instead of just reinvesting in buying more inventory, you need to reinvest in having your website. You need to invest in a partner that delivers your goods for you in order to create less friction between you and your customer. Maybe now is the time to invest in a Dubsado or a Dubsado expert or an automation expert to position you for sustainable automation and integration, because you don't know anything about that. Maybe reinvestment looks like attending an online trade show, and you have to put the ticket money down. When I say ticket, I mean virtual ticket entrance, right? In order to be exposed to the newest trends in your field. So you have to be able to have a reinvestment fund that is dedicated to options and actions that are designed to grow the business sustainably. That's different to buying more stock, okay? It's different. So you need to say, well, what percentage is it going to be? Is it going to be 5%? Is it going to be 10%? And that's also a good way to save up for a big ticket investment thing that you've always wanted. And so these things should be assets. They should be knowledge-based. They should be things that you can leverage to grow and expand your venture in order to make more money. Another thing is, this is not the time to be depleting your own funds, right? And so if there are small loans available and you can manage a loan, then you should take a loan. I used to be a loan officer like long time after my first degree for all of like 3 months. But using other people's money is better than using your own. And I never used to believe in that philosophy, even though I was a loan officer. And then one of my friends, we met at a conference, and she was like the regional person of one of the banks. And she said to me, no, you have to use other people's money. Why? Because imagine you've saved maybe $10,000 and you want to invest in, let's say that you make products, soaps, etc., and you want to invest in a machine to help automate the process, or a small conveyor belt system or whatever. You will take your whole $10,000, put it in that, now you're at $0 and you have to start building that again, when you could take that money as a loan and your own money still be there undepleted, but you've achieved the same goal. Because you can't have sustainable business when you're broke. And trust me, many of us were really broke, okay, this year compared to where we would have been probably if there was no COVID. So this is a lesson. Saving for sustainable reinvestment into your business not utilizing your business's savings or your own savings to invest in sustainable growth assets, knowledge, right? And using other people's money as in borrowing. Now, here's a tip about the borrowing. Do not go and request a business loan unless it is a particular business program that has low interest rates for business people. If that's not it, do not go and get a business loan, because the business loan interest rate is much higher than a personal loan. Also, the requirements to get a business loan are much more stringent and difficult than to get a personal consumer loan. So just go and get a personal consumer loan and do it what you want. The moment you say business loan, then they want to see your business records, then they want to see your business plan. Then it's up to the loan officer, who may not understand your business model or business, to decide. A consumer loan, they're looking to see, like, can you pay? You could pay $300 a month for a little, maybe $4,000 loan. Yeah, you could pay things that you could pay. Keep that moving. That's how you need to do it. Otherwise, you deplete everything, and you yourself, you are not sustainable. Now, I mentioned accounting. Hi, Neva J. I mentioned accounting, and ensuring that you have your bookkeeping done at the very basics is a move for sustainable business. Why? Because you cannot be sustainable. You cannot position yourself for any grants or even for a consumer loan if you are not if you don't have records. And you cannot make decisions that are best for your business without data. And I'm always talking about data. And I know data sounds like scientists, like you have to be a scientist to have some data. No, all decisions should be data driven. And data looks like, how much money did I make from what types of services that I offer? Some people are offering 100 services, selling 1,000 products, but if you really to look at the breakdown in what makes the money, you might be surprised and you will make different decisions. However, none of this can happen without bookkeeping and record keeping. You must keep a meticulous record and meticulous note in your, whatever is your accounting software. Hi, Ija the goat. Hi. Of your software, if you intend to do big business, right? So how are you going to make decisions when you have no data to look back on? Also, when opportunities come up for ventures, so I work with regional companies like Caribbean Export. I work with accelerator programs in different territories. And even when there is free money or entrance into programs, they want to see your records. That is what signifies to them that you are a serious business person. So you don't got no records, nobody sees you as credible, and you cannot qualify for regional and international grants and money and opportunities. It's just not going to happen. And so when you cannot position yourself in different spheres, then you cannot be sustainable because you cannot grow sufficiently. Hi, Christelle. Yeah? So let's go again. Sustainable business requires automations and integrations. Sustainable business requires sustainable goals and the critical success factors to go with those sustainable goals. It requires a sustainable reinvestment fund for your business to help you grow. It requires that you not deplete your funds to invest in assets to grow your venture. You need to take small loans, and those loans should not be business loans unless the business loans are giving you really low rates. If not, you need to take a consumer loan because their interest rates are always less than business loans, and the barrier of approval is less for a personal consumer loan. Hand in hand with that is the necessity to have record keeping and bookkeeping, because without those, you can't get loan, you can't be positioned for other opportunities, and hence you cannot grow your venture in a sustainable way, meaning money coming, money coming, money coming. Another thing that is important is that you need to be able to figure out how to develop passive income and figure out how to invest money so that it makes more money. We all know that money sitting on bank account does get used. So your bank account looking hot, 20,000 on there, 30,000. Maybe your hot is 10,000 because after COVID, hot could be like 5,000. But the truth is that unless it is making money for you, 5,000 minus 100 is less, minus 200 is less, to pay the lights, it's less. And so the money just keeps being depleted. And so you have to always be making more money. So what does that look like? That looks like investing. Using the money in your business, not just to invest, because in your business you're going to save for yourself as well, right? So talking about reinvestment in your business is different to investing. So investing might not be for your business, but you need to take the revenue or the profit that you are making, some of that, and figure out an investment vehicle so that more and more money comes. Now let's talk about passive income. Now we can't all be working forever and ever like dogs. We can't work around the clock. Why? It's not sustainable. We just spoke about that. So if you are giving all of your time, hi Jerry, if you're giving all of your time, right, you're exchanging your time for money, eventually that will become unsustainable unless you are using a vehicle to attract large volume at once, or you are making money passively. So you have to get to the point where engagements with you, this is always how I am, engagements with me, if you need my time with you, whether it's working for organizations, doing training, doing consultancy, if you need me, that bottom line figure, that ticket is high. Because I am an expert and I can't regain that time, right? And so you only have so much time. And so if you only have so much time to exchange for money, you have to figure out how can you either A, make more money for the time that you are exchanging, and that can be by raising prices so that an engagement with you is in the thousands of dollars so that it is worth the exchange of time, because it's an opportunity cost. When you're there with the client, or when you're there consulting, or when you're there doing whatever it is that you do to create value, the opportunity cost is that you cannot be anywhere else because it's only you. Hence, the payoff, right? The price point for being able to have my time exclusively must be high because I cannot put it anywhere else. So that's one way. The next thing is volume. So you have to figure out how to scale. So I'm so excited that I have my scale up ladies coming on in February, and they're going to be working to scale. We're working towards $1 million in revenue. And so they've moved from Level Up Ladies, and some of them have moved to Scale Up program. We begin that in February, right? Now, the vehicle for scaling is generally tech or logistics. Why? Because scaling is not the same as growth. Scaling means that you are widening your reach, your revenue, your customer base without the resulting increase in cost. So it means that you can service thousands of customers, hundreds of customers, and you have to use tech as the point to do that. So if your products, it means that you're exporting, you're trying to expand your reach in the market through more distributors, retailer partnerships, or direct selling online. Hundreds of things can be shipped to persons. If you're a service provider and you're not using the high ticket, right? The high ticket price point for your time, then you need to be able to scale with numbers. So for instance, I scale with numbers with my online courses. So my courses can be consumed and used and add value to hundreds of people without me. I did the class once, I recorded it, and now it's there for people to purchase. But the idea that you can trade time for money at an economic price point or without volume is unsustainable. And remember, we're talking about sustainability. And so you have to be able to understand how to leverage your expertise for high price point, or to attract large volume, or to do both in your business model. So I do both, and I'm working on more volume, right? So the thing is that you have to be especially careful of thinking that you can exchange time for money. There's only so much time in the day, and there's only so much of you. And so that is why I was saying earlier, with all the other things that I talked about, like automation, integration, sustainable goals, critical success factors, a sustainable reinvestment fund, borrowing in order to increase your asset or knowledge base, all of these things are what you're supposed to be doing with your time. And so these things are the things that are going to be necessary for you to build a sustainable model, an innovative model, a robust pandemic-proof model. And so if you are busy exchanging your time for mediocre repayment, then you've just wasted your time, and you don't have the time to invest in sustainability of your venture's growth. You see? So it is really important to understand and to reimagine your business model and business operations in order to create the price points that you want and deserve, to be sustainable, or the volume to be sustainable, and have the time to continue to reinvest in strategic thought, strategic innovation moves, and the acquisition of knowledge and operational skill in order to be able to grow your business. But if you're busy exchanging time for money that can't even pay your light bill, you're not going to be able to do that. And so you have to really understand that sustainability is important. So that's it for me tonight. This was Dr. Tamu Petra Brown of Innovative Education and Training Solutions and Coaching by Tamu. I've changed the link in my bio so you can see all the ways you can work with me there. And if you want a customized approach to working with me, like, I want to do this, Tamu, but this is all the money I got, and you fill out the form, right? And I'll get my automations will email you with some recommendations that are suitable for your challenges as well as for your price point. If you are wanting to join Level Up Ladies, the link is also in that bio. We start January 6th. It's live virtually with me once a week. It's 6 months. It's worth the investment. You can go on the IGTV and the YouTube and see the receipts, as the young people say. So I look forward to you engaging with me. And I think I'll be back to talk to you about some of the things that are going to be different with Coaching by Tamu and Innovative Education next time. So thanks, everybody. Night, Najeri. Night, Blestina. Thank you for joining me. Bye. My son is like, what is wrong with you, mommy?